Welcome, everybody, to the start of a new Cup Series season. What feels like ages has finally come to an end. The drought of AT&T Cup Series action, and it breaks with the Budweiser Shootout. Speed Weeks has moved into a fever pitch. 28 drivers, all race winners and champions in this field. Will try to go for $1 million. Welcome, everyone, to Daytona, the World Center of Racing, and welcome to the Cup Series on ABN. 28 drivers, pole sitters, race winners, champions. It is an invitational event. The requirements, pretty straightforward. Be as champion of the series, have a pole position. That's it. Usually it is within a time period, since it's been 2.5 years since we've had a Cup Series race. It was expanded a little bit, sort of a celebration before the storm turns fierce here in South Florida. Qualifying took place earlier this afternoon for these 28 cars. I'll have to get used to that. There'll be a lot more coming up later this week. It is the Darrell Everett Incorporated cars, the DEI cars, front of the field. Father and son. What will be their last season racing together. Darrell Everett Sr. on pole position announced that this is his last season in the Cup Series. A long and extremely fruitful career, 14 career championships at the top level. And he will try to ride into the sunset with more race wins in his pocket in 2025. Darrell Everett Jr., a winner at this racetrack in his own right, both in the shootout and the 500. He starts alongside in row number 1. Jace Clark for Atomic Autosport, Black Rose Racing in row 2 alongside Eli Park. 3-time NAMRA Cup Series champion Wyatt Jones sits in row 3 alongside Roberto Crown Jr. Aiden Norton and Evangeline Porter in row 4. Evangeline Porter coming off a successful campaign to become the defending IndyCar World Champion when the Champ Car World Series season starts in March. She starts 8th. She'll also attempt the Daytona 500 next Sunday. Tony Newton and Brent Jordan in row number 5. For Jordan, comes off, he's the defending Daytona 500 winner from 2022. He's the last person we've seen win a race here at Daytona. Can do the same thing here tonight. Penn Harrington, Victor Oldham III in row 6, ahead of Thomas Rogers and Stanley Patrick, who make up row number 7. Levi Allison and Shane Mendoza make up row number 8. Kyle Weber and Carmen Sienna in row number 9. Carson Fuller, Ryan Pinnell in row 10. And then Kira Rigney and Edward Jackson in row 11. Row 12, Sonia Walker and Albert Nash. Matteo Snellen, Sarah Christensen in row 13. The last row of this field, Riley Dominguez and Satomi Ray to make up the 28 cars in this field. Exciting times. Stages, we'll lay those out for you here before we hear the command to fire engines. 25-lap stage in stage 1, 25-lap stage in stage 2. The remainder of the race will be in stage 3. Stages, one of the many things killed by the Horizon Corporation after they took over managing the Cup Series, except for here in the shootout and later on this year in the All-Star race. We'll cover more of those changes here in just a moment, including the new 7th generation cars that sit in front of you that'll take to the track and race in the U.S. for the first time this season. Let's go ahead and send a track side for those most famous words in all of motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
The roar of V8s gets closer and closer here in Daytona. Thousands upon thousands of horsepower come to life at the World Center of Racing. And we're glad you're with us for all of it here on ABN. 7th generation cars, shorter bodies all around, especially at the rear of the car, where they shortened it by about a foot. A lot of space taken off the rear of the car, changed a lot of things. We've seen this car in action. We've seen the template used in Australia and Canada and Mexico. Those are all short ovals. Those are all road courses. They're not on the high banks of Daytona. They're not taking on the intermediates of Texas, of Kentucky, of Chicagoland. They're not taking on the Brickyard later this year. Unproven ground coming into Speed Weeks this year. These 28 drivers get to put it to the test for $1 million. Going for broke. Again, all pole sitters in their careers here in the AT&T Cup Series. Handful of them also champions. Christensen, Walker, Jones, Darrell Everett Sr., Tony Newton, Levi Allison, Kyle Weber. All champions here. Exciting times as we get ready to go racing here for the 2025 Budweiser Shootout. Not expecting to see any pit stops under green. But what are we going to see in general? The green flag flies. The Budweiser Shootout is underway. Let's go racing in Daytona. We're glad you're with us. The field roars into turns 1 and 2. Everett Sr. gets the early lead, moves up top in front of his son. Clark in third, Park in fourth, Wyatt Jones top 5 as they started. We'll see some shuffling going on here. We've had a lot of cars on the racetrack. 53 cars trying to qualify for the Daytona 500 have all been a part of Speed Weeks. As Clark clears himself and moves up in front of the number 8. We've not seen all 28 together for a full-on race. And we're going to see a lot of that. 28 tonight, 27 will be in Duel 1 on Thursday, determined by qualifying on Wednesday. 26 in Duel 2. And we'll see how that all shakes out. Last time we were here in 2022, it was a very interesting dynamic. There's a lot more single file going on. Started off a lot more frantic, though. We had a lot of 3 wides to kick that race off before it went single file because tire wear became a factor. No 3 wides yet, but everyone doing a pretty good job staying 2 wide at least, except for those at the front 4. That is Aiden Norton. That's the 21, Penn Harrington, that subway machine for Dean Brothers Racing. There's Thomas Rogers in that signature number 2 that he's held the practicality of all of his career across both the Cup Series and in Champ Car. There's Cal Weber, the 18, ahead of the 54 of Carson Fuller. Everyone's still pretty close together here. There were concerns that with the changes to this car from the 6th generation, the addition of a diffuser and a flat floor, that things would be pretty difficult. They are expecting more tire wear. Low profile Goodyear tires on the wider rims for this car. Pit stops will also be interesting. Single lug nut on these tires instead of the 5 lug nuts traditionally seen. The Energizer Series and the Pepsi Truck Series will both still use the 5 lug nut rims, so they haven't changed. Sort of an experimentation to see how it all plays out here with the 7th generation car, bringing it to the international standard for pit stops. Both Phoenix Motorsports cars leading the lines here in Daytona at the end of lap 5 as it comes through 3 and 4. Fuller comes down in front of Jordan. Didn't take the Phoenix Motorsports team long at all to find the front of the field. It didn't also take very long for the 80 of Cura Rigney to also find the front of the field. It's a little bit of assistance from the 17 of Albert Nash. A lot of teams changing around. Rigney joining Rosgreaves Racing. Having spent the beginning part of her career on Emerson Racing, went from Dodge to Honda for that number 80. Albert Nash went from Peters Racing to Coach Parsons Racing in that 17 car. He got to keep the 17, fortunately. Mateo Snellen still with Comet Racing in that 38 from Ford to Dodge. Chase Clark didn't go anywhere. Stayed with Black Rose Racing. What was Peters Racing, now Black Rose Racing. In their Ford. Ali Dominguez. Big changes. Faced Boyer Racing. New team in the Daytona 500. Dominguez running full season for that team. Champ Car team based out of Greece. Also expanding into the Cup Series. 3 wide for the first time tonight. Snellen, middle 3. And it ends just as quickly as it begins. Snellen stays ahead of Darrell Everett Sr. Fuller tried to close the door on Ciara Christensen with Autosport. From 2 to 4 cars. 50 and the 87 still kicking it. The 87, the only car in this field. The other 3 full of rookies. Of course, with Autosport as they expand. Christensen's found her way to the front. Speeds not too far off where they were back in 2022. About 192 miles an hour down the back straightaway for your race leader. And remember, caution comes out the end of lap 25. A little bit of a breakaway. Seems like when someone gets the clean air, they're able to get away for just a little bit. Christensen stays in front of Fuller. Running around at the moment ahead of Jace Clark. Dominguez now leads that inside lane for a moment. Here comes Carson Fuller, the Toyota. Goes to the inside of the 87. Everyone trying to figure things out here. A lot of ebb and flow going on right now. Drivers deliberately shuffling themselves to the back of the field to see how quickly they can move forward. This is all useful information that they're going to use not only in next Sunday's Daytona 500, but also on Thursday's duels. How quickly can you move back in front? So Tommy Ray last in qualifying for Sunrise Motorsports. Up to second. Victor Oldham III also up there in the top 5. Edward Jackson. And there's the 60 of Sonia Walker, that Akuma car. Black and blue. Up in the top 5 as new faces join the fray. Very cordial right now, knowing that there's nothing really on the line here in Stage 1 and Stage 2. Again, everyone just trying to figure things out here. Almost feels just like a giant test as they come out of turn 4 here on lap 11, trying to start lap 12. Engines sound amazing. There's a very roar past the camera there, off pit exit. This car a blank slate for everybody. Edward Jackson leads the way. Albert Nash. Toyotas have had the lion's share of the laps led early on here in Daytona. Ford's had a couple. Chevrolet's had a couple. But Toyotas have been pretty strong out in front. Jackson Motorsports, 2-car effort. Only 1 car in the duel. We'll see the 33 in action. BK Glover filling that car. Another champ car driver stepping over from the open-wheel realm to give the stock cars a go. I say as if Glover's not familiar with stock cars. He's raced in the Cup Series before. Gets to do it again. That 33 car going to be a locked-in car too. So he doesn't have a lot of pressure to deal with. Some drivers will have a lot of pressure to deal with this week, trying to get into the show. Six manufacturers in the Cup Series, up from 4. The addition of Honda and the addition of Mercedes-Benz. Pretty key in the turn of it. We're going to crank it up for a moment, so if you need a volume warning, here's your notification that you're going to need it. It's right on board with the 80. Former Daytona 500 winner Kira Rigney in contact. We're actually waiting. Hold on a second. Huge crash, 3 wide into turn 3. Car up and over Carson Fuller. And our first crash of the night. Jace Clark involved, Satomi Ray involved, and Mateo Snellen, Satomi Ray all involved there. It looks like it was between Fuller and Darrell Everett Sr. Everett, you see there at the tail end of the field, he's okay. What happened to Carson Fuller? Look at the replay now of the 54, who is falling backwards on that outside lane. The outside lane, not enough momentum to go forward. There's just 28 cars. That was assumed that might be the case. Everyone trying to shuffle. That's the 9 Eli Park. 87 of Christensen there behind. Fuller tries going into a gap between Norton and Everett and just nowhere to go, and that is a huge flip down the racetrack. Series of barrel rolls, and thankfully it lands on its wheels. What a huge accident. crash there. First caution of the night. And of the 2025 season, it's a wild ride for Carson Fuller. Several cars out, including Jace Clark, Fuller, and Matteo Snellen. All three of them out. Several cars did not come down pit lane this time. That is Ryan Pinnell, his teammate Thomas Rogers there for Royalty Racing. Evangeline Porter, Tony Newton, Edward Jackson, Ciara Christensen, Sonia Walker, and Levi Allison. Bunch of cars did come down pit lane, starting with Penn Harrington. Going all the way down as everyone tries to get themselves sort of positions. Roberto Crowden Jr., the 88. Kira Rigney in the 80. Victor Oldham in the 23. Brent Jordan in the 45. There's Albert Nash in the 17. The 8 of Darrell Everett Jr. 1 of Stanley Patrick. They're teammates for Darrell Everett Incorporated. Riley Dominguez, Carmen Sienna, Shane Mendoza, Eli Park, Kyle Weber, Hayden Norton, as Wyatt Jones, as the 3 of Darrell Everett Sr. So tell me, Ray, 2 of those cars involved in that accident. Having to get some extended repairs done. So tell me, Ray, especially in the wall pretty hard on that right side. Looks okay at the moment. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if we can ride on board with that 5 and see what the damage looks like. Yeah, a little bit of damage on the nose. You can see the panels aren't flat on that nose. A lot better looking for the 3. Darrell Everett Sr. And I believe we will be getting ready to double up here. Nope, still got another lap here at Daytona. It will make this little sprint Welcome back, everyone, to the Budweiser Shootout here in Daytona. Get ready to go back racing here for what should be a pretty interesting sprint to the finish of Stage 1 at the end of lap 25. Royalty Racing teammates will line up front and center as we're ready to double up here. It's entering turn number 3. for those just now tuning in, heavy accident in turns 3 and 4. You see the skid marks. 5-car accident. It has taken 3 cars out of the running for $1 million. Chase Clark, Mateo Snellen all out. Carson Fuller, the one going for a wild ride, multiple flips down the banking in turns 3 and 4. So Tommy Ray and Darrell Everett Sr. also involved in that caution, the first one of the season here in 2025. It is Ryan Pennell and Thomas Rogers front row, front and center, to get us back underway here in Daytona. And away we go. Rogers got a rocket ship start. And it is 3 wide behind them as they get up to speed. These cars take a full lap to get up to full song here at Daytona. Restrictor plates cutting what would normally be 750 horsepower down to less than 600. On the means of safety here. Otherwise, these cars would touch 220 miles an hour, no problem. Typically, like, more speed's good, right? Like, normally, except for when these cars are 3,500 pounds. And if you get moving that quick, you got to also be able to stop pretty quick. And that's where the struggle has typically been. A little bit more frantic. Some 3 wides happening pretty early. Christensen in what is typically considered to be the sucker hole. Not a great place to be. Newton decides to go to the middle. Pair of former champions now sitting in the middle of an interesting 3 wide here on lap 20. See how this plays out. Christensen gets clear to Rogers. Leaves Newton on his own. In that middle, 3 wide. He tries pushing Thomas Rogers out to the outside lane. See how that plays out for him. A bit buffering back and forth there between the 14, the 2, and the 18. Fantasy Florida cuts him some slack. Let him slot on in the outside lane as Thomas Rogers and Albert Nash decide they're going to swap places. Thomas Rogers goes low, Albert Nash goes high. That could be an issue in that 14, to be honest. He is not up to full gear. He is struggling right now. Gets to the bottom of the racetrack, gets behind the 3. Separation here. Field rolls into turn 3 and 4. Shane Mendoza gets to the front. Kyle Weber behind there in second. That yellow Stanley machine. Penn Harrington in third. Two laps to go in the stage. Harrington leads, and he's got a pretty decent margin right now between himself and Dominguez. Oldham, they're up there in third, doing pretty good. Both the motorsport cars live it like old times with the 23 and the 25. Oldham and Jones. Oldham goes to the bottom of the racetrack looking to get around Dominguez. Can he put together that 23? Can he get to the 21? Here comes Norton. White flag in the stage. It's going to make this interesting. See how this all plays out. Racing back to the line here to end stage one. What have we got? Does Oldham have a chance to get around Harrington? I don't think so. Harrington's going to win the stage. Again, nothing significant on the line there. And they will catch up to the Toyota Camry pace car. It is a Ford 1, 2, 3. Harrington, Oldham, and Jones in this stage. Great job for all three of them. And then McNally Motorsport teammates are Norton and Park. Round out your top five as they catch up to the Toyota Camry pace car as the stage comes to a close. Cars are ready to come down pit lane. We'll step aside for the race set and get ready for stage number 2. Don't go anywhere. More racing to come after this.
This is Maria. She's a AAA member, so she has peace of mind. This is Tara. She's not, and she doesn't. Tara fixes flats and pours over possible insurance policies.
You're valuable to us. Keep waiting.
All by herself. Maria, she just has AAA do it for her.
So you did it all already?
Yeah.
On the plus side, get more with AAA.
Dear world traveler, you've spanned the globe, searching for your soul. I'm still trying to find that half-inch socket I lost earlier. Guess we're all looking for something.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Budweiser Shootout here in 2025 to kick off the AT&T Cup Series season. We're going to go back racing here to start stage number 2. Stage ends on lap 50. Coming up here, Wyatt Jones leads the way over Aiden Norton, Eli Park, Albert Nash, and Shane Mendoza. So you're ready for this stage. Going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Again, everyone racing for $1 million. That's what the race winner gets here. 3 cars of the 28 that started already out. Chase Clark, Carson Fuller, and Mateo Snellen. As they double up to get ready to go racing here in Daytona. We're glad you're with us here on ABN. A lot of stuff coming up here. Practice Monday and Tuesday. Qualifying to lock in the front row and set the duels on Wednesday. And then the Gatorade duels themselves on Thursday. To mark 4 straight days of racing. Pepsi Truck Series season begins on Friday. Next Saturday, the Energizer Series. And then the Cup Series, Daytona 500 on Sunday, the 63rd edition. It's money on everybody's mind as we go back racing here in Daytona. Jones and Norton side by side. Norton with help from Albert Nash. And it's Norton's teammate, Eli Park, right behind him. Teammates, I should say, because there's Shane Mendoza as well, the 48. Stack up. There's Tommy Ray stacking up the field a little bit, it looks like. Darrell Everett Sr., he's back in the mix. Yes, Tommy Ray, remember, it damaged from that caution on lap 15. Being pancaked in the wall. You can see some of the damage there on the nose of that Honda Accord. Everyone tries making their way around the fort. 2 Civics in this field, the 80 and the 4. Not many. See a lot more later on this week. A lot of them trying to make the field for the Daytona 500. Rodriguez Racing, Sunrise Motorsports. Both in this field because of their drivers' successes. Especially in qualifying. Highside Racing, the Australian team from Supercars, bringing 2 cars in for Matilda Atalanta and Chris Pauley, who will both try to make the field on Wednesday and Thursday. As the field rolls out of turn 4. See how spread out the field is already, especially the stragglers, how quickly you lose the draft and how bad it can be. Side by side they go. Minus the top 3 single file. Weber, Norton, and Crown. Your top 3 as things sit. Dominguez back up into the top 5. Same with Victor Oldham III. On the back straightaway they go. Some cool static cameras there down the back stretch. As Oldham works to get around Dominguez and will do so with ease. Dominguez no help on the outside lane for quite a bit. Here comes Brent Jordan. He does the same thing to Oldham. Rolling around turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway they go. As Crown moves forward to the race lead. Then there's Dale Everett Jr. and Stanley Patrick, the two DEI cars. Nose to tail. 3 of those DEI cars in this field. Dale Everett Sr. now shuffled to the back. Martin Washington, the 15 car, not present in this field, not a pole sitter. Race winner, Martin Washington, but not a pole sitter. Porter making her presence known in the top 5 as the field ebbs and flows. 15 to go in stage 2. All right, Jones got shuffled back, and Maya got shuffled too far back. See if he can keep up with the lead pack here or get left behind. That's Sienna. That's falling back with them. 96 there for Arrowhead Racing. 5-car effort trying to make the Daytona 500. Only 2 of those cars locked in, the 96 and the 97, being driven by Keisha Fox. Wyatt Jones is safely back there and will go ahead and get in front of his teammate there as well on the inside lane. And Oldham will follow suit. Oldham was ahead of Wyatt Jones at the end of stage 1. Turnabout fair play for the 2 teammates for Ludwig Motorsports. See the car struggling. Thomas Rogers just lost the draft with the shuffling, trying to get around Satomi Ray. Satomi Ray in legitimate danger of going a lap down here in the shootout. But very important information being learned by Satomi Ray in terms of how that car feels damage. What is the difference? How can you repair this car compared to the old Gen 6 car used 3 years ago? All of these questions, very important. As Evangeline Porter leads. Evangeline Porter drove the 6-car for Peters Racing for several years, filling in first as a substitute driver before making that 6-car her own in between Champ Car stints. And 2.5 years between the last time we were on track and now. Bought out Peters Racing in their Cup Series effort. Peters Racing still in the Energizer Series and in the Pepsi Truck Series. Black Rose Racing expanded. 2 full-time cars. Porter's not neither one. She's defending her Crown and Champ car. Chase Clark in the 7. Leo Carson in the 77, jumping on board that team. Sonia Walker, Director of Motorsports at number 60. Not unfamiliar being up front. Has not won the Daytona 500, but has been in contention several times in her career. The 2021 Series champion. Also spent a year in Champ Car last year during the downtime, racing the Challenger Series, the 2nd division of Champ Car racing, with Cat Devil Racing. Director Motorsports didn't really have a program to put together for her. Wanted to go and give it a shot, and did. Grabbed a race win in the process. So she gets to put that feather in her cap. This is another event that Walker has never won, the Budweiser Shootout. Would love to do so, but it is a hard numbers game being a single car in a team game. Brian Poole, the 40 car. Not involved in this race. Not a pole sitter. Brian Poole's got a race win. Got a couple of them, but no pole positions. He's not been the Saturday flyer. As they come up on Satomi Ray to put the 4-car a lap down. Everyone checks up behind the 4, trying to figure out what Satomi Ray's going to do. And this is what we call bad etiquette from your lap traffic. Satomi Ray trying to stay on the lead lap, trying to have a chance to contend for $1 million, but that chance is now well and truly up in smoke. As she holds up the entire outside lane. Allows Penn Harrington, Dale Everett Seniors, Carmen Sienna, Kira Rigney, and others to get on through. And causes some bedlam behind as everyone tries to get around the 4. There goes Crown, there goes Jordan. What this does mean is that when stage 2 does come to an end, with Satomi Ray being a lap down, Satomi Ray will by default be moved to the back of the field. There are no wave arounds, no free passes. So there's no chance for Satomi Ray to do anything special here once the stage ends. Just it's unfortunate for Sonia Walker, for Stanley Patrick, and now for Shane Mendoza to be stuck like this. Also limits the amount of people able to fight at the front here of the field in stage 2. 7 to go in the stage. As Harrington gets passed by Levi Patrick. Sorry, not Levi Patrick. Levi Allison. I was thinking Stanley Patrick further behind. Not the same. Levi Allison. Edward Jackson. Albert Nash. There's Dale Everett Jr., the Budweiser number 8, moving forward. There's Tony Newton, the 14. Roberto Crown Jr., the 88. Brent Jordan in the 45 there for Phoenix Motorsports, also rolling. We do have an update to report on Carson Fuller, the teammate of the 45 there, who went for a wild ride on lap 15 earlier on tonight. He has been checked, cleared, and released from the Infield Care Center here in Daytona. Following his tumble, multiple flips and barrel rolls down the turn 3 banking. See the skid marks as we roll around the racetrack here at Daytona. There we go. There's the skid marks that we're talking about. Tire wear becoming a little bit more of a factor. You can see as the cars spread out a little bit more. Cars in that mix right now at the front of the field. It is Allison, Oldham, and Newton. Your top 10 right now. Newton looks to the inside. That Mercedes, no support so far. Is it enough to get alongside the 23? No, it is not. Figured it wouldn't be, not having any support there. Edward Jackson just too far away in that 32 car, that Logitech number 32. Wanting to join the action and does a lap later. 4 laps to go in the stage. Toyota is coming up pretty quick here. 1st, 4th, and 5th. And all 3 different teams. Coach Parsons Racing for Allison. Jackson Motorsports for the 32. And then Phoenix Motorsports for the 45 of Brent Jordan. former Daytona 500 winner. A couple of former champions up here in the top 3 with Newton and Allison in the way. Here comes the 23 of Oldham. He knows how to close these stages. Was top 3 in stage 1 as well. Looking like a really good chance to do that again here. Looking really good right now in that 23 car. He also had fresh tires. He pit during the stage. On lap 26. So he knows what he's doing. Newton gonna try to pick him off here. And they'll cycle on through the top 4. The top 4 on their own little island, though. You can see Oldham's gonna slide in right behind Allison. Brent Jordan a little too far out to be a considerable factor, but see how it plays out. 2 to go in the stage. As Allison goes side by side with the 32 of Jackson. Tell you what, Victor Oldham looking pretty good here. Navigated traffic. And potential dilemmas okay. Put himself in a good spot. He's had a few race wins in his Cup Series career, but he's looking for a big one. The chance to do just that. White flag in stage number 2. See Thomas Rogers all the way on the back straightaway. On an island, but will not go a lap down. He'll stay on the lead lap. And that'll save him. Allison leads. Jackson and Oldham in 3rd, Newton in 4th. As Jordan's been caught up by a few cars here further behind. Can Jackson get around Allison out of turn 4? Big time questions to be asked here. He's going to go for it. He's going to take a shot. As they cross our finish line, it will be Allison. Over Jackson, over Oldham, over Newton, Pinnell, Harrington, Walker, Jordan, Rigney, and Christensen, your top 10. Wyatt Jones 11th there ahead of Sienna and Dominguez as stage 2 comes to a close here in the Budweiser Shootout. Thomas Rogers stays on the lap there in 24th. Somi Ray comes around with her wounded race car in 25th, 1 lap down, and will restart in stage 3 at the tail of the field. And that gives everyone a chance to reset for stage 3. We'll go over more information after this commercial break here. Levi Allison leads the way. Not been any commanding race leader so far. Allison the most, but only at 5 laps led so far tonight. More racing to come from the world center of racing here in Daytona right after this.
I gotta ask, what's the most important thing in life?
Good morning,
Faster, come on!
The Eddies, the wins,
It's over!
to be a Night City legend.
I think of freedom. It's all you need to lead the good life.
For some, the war never ended.
Are you afraid?
Balance, friendship, love.
Well, what do you think?
It's important. Everything is. But just want the world to know I was here. That I mattered.
Look, Elsie is a role player. She cannot lead a team.
Her handles ain't that good. I'm literally, look, you almost ripped her right there.
Y'all swear Kelsey Plum is a top player, but I don't see it.
She's a good piece. If Plum is your #1 option, then you're not winning anything major.
What do you say to those that say you can't shoot a 3 to save your life?
Do it again, though. She can barely hold the ball. But I'm just not sold on her.
She can't make that.
She's cooking.
Apologize. I ain't gonna lie, she nice.
Well, I mean, she is in the WNBA, so she gonna hit a few shots. She a problem for real.
Welcome back, everyone, to racing here in Daytona, the Budweiser Shootout in 2025, kicking off the AT&T Cup Series in style here on ABN. Everyone's had a chance to come down pit lane. Some fresh tires to get to the end of this race. It is Edward Jackson and Victor Oldham that lead the field. To start this last restart, well, it could be the last restart, I should say. Tony Newton and Penn Harrington, row 2. Pair of champions in that row. 2 more champions, Sonia Walker and Levi Allison, row 3. Brent Jordan and Kira Rigney in row 4. Ryan Pinnell and Riley Dominguez around row 5 out to square off our top 10. As we get ready to go racing here in Daytona. Once again, stage 3 goes all the way to the end of the race. I'm going to point out here, stages only occurring in the exhibition events. The All-Star race included will be the only additional time we see stages. Also, only available in the stages over time. For those familiar with the concept from back in 2022, attempts to end this race under green. Basically, we get 2 laps to finish the race. If a caution comes out with less than 5 laps to go, that's in effect here, but not next Sunday. The green flag flies, and away we go. Some exhibition rules to kind of throw out there for everybody. So go back racing, 25 cars on the racetrack, 24 on the lead lap. The V8s get up the song once more. Still side by side. Everyone on fresh tires. Everyone trying to give it a go. Outside lane, we know, has the ability to, when there's numbers present, pull forward. The numbers right now just are not there right now for Victor Oldham to lead that outside lane forward. Not for lack of effort. Penn Harrington and Levi Allison doing what they can. Car middle, 3 wide. Stanley Patrick, the 1 car. They left Tommy Ray in the dust. Lane falling apart in front of our eyes here. With only 24 cars in this pack. Does make it a little bit difficult. See how long this single file lasts in the top 6. From Newton to Sienna and now Crown, and not very long. Christensen and Sienna both said, yep, time to move. And around Ryan Pinnell they moved. Ryan Pinnell will slide backwards as the field doubles up once again and gets around Sonia Walker. Tony Newton, though, stays at the front. That's where your race leader has been, the 14 car. Last couple laps. Sienna with support from Crown and Dale Everett Jr. Brent Jordan on the outside lane will slip backwards as well. Park moves to the inside of his teammate Crown. Sienna goes to the inside as well. Wants a piece of the race lead. Sienna's not led a lap at all this race. There's not many drivers that haven't led a lap yet. Sienna gets ahead of Newton. As Eli Park in the 9. And then Shane Mendoza, the 48. The McNally Motorsport cars, all 4 of them looking good. All 4 of them top 8. As Sienna leads the lap here in Daytona. Drivers yet to lead a lap. Stanley Patrick, Brent Jordan, and Riley Dominguez. That's it. 3 of the 24 drivers in this group have not led a lap yet. So Tommy Ray's also not yet led a lap and will likely not lead a lap, being a lap down here and about to be lapped a second time. The damage on that Honda. Sienna leads a second lap. And here comes the McNally Motorsports train. Not all the McNally cars go. Norton stays behind Sienna. Mendoza slides back up. Little 3-car pack trying to roll. Keep momentum going here. Eli Park with the way large support team behind him will get to the front of the field and slide right in front of his teammate. And then right back down in front of the 32 of Jackson. Jackson gets clear of Mendoza and also gets to choose free lane. And gets down on the racetrack as well, right ahead of Albert Nash. Toyotas once again know how to get to the front of the field too. There's Nash. Peeks the inside. Got a lot of posturing, a lot of prepping. With less than 20 to go. Trying to put yourself in position because it's not where you're at right now that matters. It's where you're at With about 5 laps to go, that begins to matter. Can you give yourself a chance? Wyatt Jones, 25, that red, white, and yellow car moving forward. He is joining this group at the front. A little tight there in the middle of that 3 wide. Harrington was trying to get down in front of Oldham and does for a moment. Oldham didn't want to let him through, but didn't have much of a choice and still doesn't. Going to put him 3 wide again. As Jones goes for the race lead. With support from the icon, from the franchise, Darrell Everett Sr. behind him. Darrell Everett Sr. acknowledged in his age, he's not as good as he was outside of the plate tracks. But the plate tracks, he's still got a chance. He still got the great equalizer, being able to see the air. Everyone always thought it was a myth, but his victories here at Daytona, he's won everything here. He's won at Talladega so many times. He is a constant threat to be spectacular. Push Wyatt Jones to the front of the field and drop back a little bit. Every often you get to say goodbye to a living legend. Right now, this is what we get to start doing here in 2025 as he sticks it out in the number 3 car. It's Tommy Ray up near the front. And whoa, a little close. Tommy Ray trying to get to the top of the field and blocks Oldham up the racetrack. And there's going to be some worries with Tommy Ray. Already a lap down, now a second lap down. Door of the 25, the race leader. He is not going to take that lightly. For Oldham, this is a setback that he did not need to have with less than 15 laps to go. Everyone trying to scramble to get around the 4. Caught out Sienna, caught out Darrell Everett Sr., Oldham, Rogers, Mendoza, Nash. Caught all of them out. Oldham gets out behind Rigney there and will try to keep touch. Mendoza behind him. And once again, it's Thomas Rogers, the worst off in that exchange. And down pit lane, some sort of issue. That's Evangeline Porter. The 81 car in trouble. And her race for $1 million is off. Secondary pack trying to catch up here. Everyone's spread out just a little bit. Wyatt Jones, one of the top 5 there is Darrell Everett Jr., Eli Park, Stanley Patrick, Wyatt Jones, and Ciara Christensen. Your top 5. Here comes Tony Newton and company. That's Walker, that's Crown, that's Norton. And more to come. Harrington leading Allison, Pinnell, Jordan, Weber, Sienna, Dominguez, Rigney, Oldham. It looks like Thomas Rogers does keep hold of the draft enough to still have a chance at $1 million. As Porter comes out of pit lane, goes a lap down, and will stay out of the way of those racing for $1 million. Data collection now for the 81 ahead of Do or Die Week here in Daytona. Front of the field, Park up to the front now. Nally Motorsports came in all 4 cars for that team in the 28 cars in this field. All of them pole sitters in their Cup Series career. Stood a 1 in 7 chance of winning the shootout. 3 of those cars in the top 6 right now. And for a moment in time, those 3 cars, 1, 2, and 3. Only car not in this group right now is Mendoza, who was held up by that lap traffic. And here we go. Crown goes ahead. Park will drop down likely to 6th, if not further. Wyatt Jones wants to win $1 million. Prize fighter. And that number 25 will share that car with Michael Norman. When Wyatt Jones is doing champ car races, Michael Norman, former F1 driver, will jump in and pilot that body armor 25. But for Daytona and Atlanta, kick off the Cup Series season, it will be Atlanta's own Wyatt Jones trying to go 3-on-1 against McNally Motorsports. Still a little bit of David versus Goliath in that conversation. Motorsports, an established team in the Cup Series at this point. Wyatt Jones' 3 championships helped contribute to that. But it's not easy. 25 rolls in 3rd. Eli Park in 4th behind him. And in front of him, it's Aiden Norton and Roberto Crown Jr. As they dance in the top 4. A little bit spread out there. There's Stanley Patrick. There's Dale Everett Jr. Kyle Weber and Ciara Christensen, top 8. Coming to 8 laps to go here in the Budweiser Shootout. What are you gonna do if you're Wyatt Jones and you're in the Hornet's nest behind enemy lines? He is the only Ford in the top 5. It is all Chevrolets around him. Then you look at the Toyota of Weber and the Mercedes of Christensen, who are not really in the conversation right now. Jones to the lead, coming to 7 laps to go. He has won this race before, but it has been quite a few years since he's won the shootout. And so much about Wyatt Jones has changed in the 2.5 years since he was last in a Cup Series car. A Champ Car race winner, an Indianapolis 500 race winner, and a championship contender in more than one sport. So much has changed about McNally Motorsports, though, as well. Cole Tucker retiring. Moving on to a leadership position with that team. Gives everyone half a chance. Wyatt Jones with 6 laps to go. Trying to pull away on his own as teammates battle behind him. It has become a 6-car fight for $1 million. The rest of the field has struggled to keep up. This is some wild stuff we're seeing. Remember, a caution comes out now. We do have overtime in the exhibitions. Do we need to see it? 5 to go. They let Kyle Weber and Dale Everett Jr. back in the conversation. The number's now a little bit more even, 3-on-3. And now in Motorsports versus the world. Here comes Norton. Norton, Weber, and Dale Everett Jr. And it will shuffle the 25 down to 5th. But he will have a chance to regroup, and the shuffling continues. Here comes Weber. Norton leads at the line, 4 to go. Tommy Ray up the road a little bit. Could be a factor in these last 4 laps. You don't want to see it, but you might. Coming to 3 to go as the laps tick away. This Tommy Ray will be a factor here. One more time. How does this play out? Everyone tries to jump to the bottom. Wyatt Jones keeps that door shut. Eli Park, and Kyle Weber behind him. And just like that, coming to 2 to go, there were 4. Rolling around the corner. 2 to go. Wyatt Jones looking for the race lead. He thinks with the smaller numbers he's got a chance to hold him off. We'll see if he does. Crown behind him. Gets in front of Norton. Leaves Dale Everett Jr. with no help. What can Wyatt Jones do in a 4-car free-for-all? Coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go here in Daytona. Dale Everett Jr. versus Wyatt Jones, 2 of the best plate racers you could possibly have at this moment. Down the back straightaway into turn 3 for the final time. 6 cars in a line. Can Dale Everett Jr. deny Wyatt Jones $1 million? Out of 4. Coming to home. Wyatt Jones $1 million richer. He wins the Budweiser Shootout. Wyatt Jones gets $1 million in an incredible performance there. Quintessential for Wyatt Jones to win here once again in Daytona. Wyatt Jones comes down pit lane, $1 million richer. Outstanding stuff. As the field comes down to play and celebrate the start of the 2025 AT&T Cup Series season, it is Wyatt Jones, Darrell Everett Jr., Roberta Crown Jr., Aiden Norton, and Kyle Weber, your top 5. Eli Parkins, 6th. Carmen Sienna in Bep, 7th. Albert Nash in 8th. Shane Mendoza, 9th, ahead of Thomas Rogers, who rounds out your top 10. All that scrolling at the top of your screen. Outside the top 10, Darrell Everett Sr., Sonia Walker, Stanley Patrick, Riley Dominguez, and Penn Harrington, your top 15, ahead of Levi Allison, Victor Oldham III, Ciara Christensen, Kira Rigney, Ryan Pinnell, Edward Jackson, Tony Newton, and Brent Jordan. Those cars finishing on the lead lap. Evangeline Porter a lap down after having an issue of some mechanical variety. So Tommy Ray, a wounded car, went 3 laps down at the end of that race, but finished ahead of Chase Clark, Carson Fuller, and Matteo Snellen. A lot of fun here in Daytona tonight. We'll have even more fun this week. Practice on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, qualifying for the Daytona 500 to set the front row and the Gatorade Duels. And then 4 straight days of racing beginning on Thursday. The Gatorade Duels to set the field for the Daytona 500. Then the Pepsi Truck Series, their season starts here in Daytona on Friday. The Energizer Series on Saturday. And then the 63rd Daytona 500 coverage beginning live here on ABN, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope to see you then. On behalf of everyone here for Horizon Corporation, AT&T, the AT&T Cup Series, and everyone here at Daytona for ABN Studios, stay safe and stay healthy. See you next time from the World Center of Racing.